get the number when you have it.
Luann, do you want the gavel?
Do you think it'll turn rowdy? Nick's asking me if I want the gavel. Do you think are you guys going to be rowdy? Do I need a... No? Okay, we'll get it in an emergency, Nick, if chaos breaks out.
All right.
They are a rowdy crowd, I know. John, do we have anyone on Zoom? We have one person on Zoom? Are the McKentys on Zoom? Not yet? Okay. Yes, Diana's at Harrow today, and her and Kevin will zoom in the car on the way. But the meeting's kind of going to be broken in two, because for the motions for collaboration, Paul Duval is representing the region. I forget the name of the committee. It's out of my head. Oh, thank you. The Pastoral Relations Committee, and they require representation at the meetings for any kind of new ministry personnel. So we have other business that we can take care of until Paul gets here. Paul is currently preaching at Emmanuel, and their service ends at, Kathy, is it noon or 11:30? Sorry, noon? And so Paul said he could probably be here by 12:15. So we can take care of other business until he gets here, because Ginny, thank you for hanging around, is present with us today. And it is 11. Okay, so welcome everyone. The first thing I would like to do is to thank the ministry profile team for their work in the support that they gave me during this negotiation process. The team was really good. I wasn't the best leader because I would do a bunch of things and then kind of let them know after, but they all offered good support after and had good questions, and I'll just name the team right now. So the team consisted of Kathy Welby, Kevin McKenty, Karen Maxwell, and Stacy Odewalla. Oh, and Cheryl Palilic. I'm sorry, Cheryl. If I don't write these things down, I get up here, I get all nervous, it goes out of my head. Okay. So I thought we would begin the meeting, as we do with most our meetings, by saying our covenant. And yes, John has it on the screen. So I will begin. Our promises to God. We promise to pray alone and together, to thank God and to ask for God's help in our lives and in our work for our church. And we promise to listen to God's answer to us. Our promises to our church family. We promise to demonstrate our dedication and commitment to our church by our example. We promise to try to discover what is best for the church as a whole, not what might be best for us or for some small group in the church. Our promises to each other. We promise to respect and care for each other. We promise to treat our time at this meeting as an opportunity to make an important gift to our church. We promise to listen with an open, non-judgmental mind to the words and ideas of others here today. We promise to discuss, debate, and disagree openly in meetings, expressing ourselves as clearly and as honestly as possible, so we are certain everyone understands our point of view. We promise to support the final decisions made at this meeting, whether it reflects our view or not. So, at any time during the meeting, if you have a question, please raise your hand. And I have a volunteer, David Odewalla, thank you. David, who has a microphone, and David will come to you if I don't happen to see you because I'm talking a lot or reading. that's okay to do a or Luann, or, get my attention in any way possible. There is one change, there are two changes to the agenda. Oh, maybe I should start with, there were agendas when you walked in. Does everyone have an agenda who wants an agenda? And there was also some of the packages of information that was emailed out in a physical copy. So if you want those, I'm not sure if there's any copies left, but we can get you copies if you would like to see them before the meeting begins. Okay, Kathy is passing around an attendance sheet. It's all in. Okay, so we have our attendance. And, oh, I'm sorry, the two items that change on the agenda. Under old business, I wrote to approve the 2024 financial report. Incorrect. We are not approving the financial report. We are approving the budget, the 2024 budget. And the other item I noticed that I forgot to include when I was making this agenda was prior to meeting adjourned and after the last motion, we're going to have a checkout. So if there's any questions that you might have that weren't answered at the meeting, we can answer those while it's still fresh in your mind. So there will be a checkout before meeting adjourned. All right. So our first motion, which will be voted on by members only, and this one was worded by the regent. I wouldn't have made it this pretty. That pursuant to section B.3.7.2 of the United Church of Canada Manual, that all adherents present be able to vote on all matters coming to this meeting. So that's saying that everyone here can vote at this meeting. Is there someone, can I ask someone to make this motion, please? Deborah Holoka. May I have a seconder? And our seconder is Nick Palilic. Okay. All those members in favor of allowing adherents to vote, please raise your hands. And that looks like that motion is carried. Thank you. So everyone can vote from here on in. Okay, let's look at old business. Old business, we hashed around the budget since the annual meeting, and a copy was sent out. And Kathy, I think, has some highlighted information that she'd like to point out to you. So Kathy, do you want to do it from there? Do you want the mic brought to you, or do you want to come up here? David, could you please bring the mic to Kathy? Or, yeah. Yep, just hand her the microphone. You can turn it on first. Oh, sorry, it's James. Thank you, James. So we have David and James helping, I'm suspecting.
Okay, I'll have it for a little bit. Okay, thanks. Hi. I felt compelled to talk to this. So I was part of the reason this budget got tabled at the AGM. Does everyone have a copy of the budget that was back at the table there? If you flip over the first page to, sorry, I just looked at this and then it messed me up here. Where it says expenses, regular expenses, about partway down on the third page. All I'm going to do is basically highlight what ended up getting adjusted. And that's from the booklet that you received in February, March, okay? So anything to do with the the new minister coming in, all those points have been adjusted. So there's the minister's salary, the minister benefits, continuing ed, the mileage allowance, the phone allowance. And I just want to say, because I had a question posed to me yesterday, the budget that we're talking about today is from January 1st to December. So when you're looking, for example, at the minister's salary, 6 months of that money is what we've paid to Ginny, okay? So the starting amount in March budget was $36,000. So when we started making adjustments, we cut it in half and took six months out, if that makes sense. We started with 18,000, half of 36 is 18,000, and we'd made the adjustments. So when we get into the motions for Patrick's salary, that'll come up later on. And they're all reflected in this new document, okay? So those were the one things that we adjusted. We took out the hospitality line, it's on the next page, for $100. I had initiated that one, I didn't realize it was in another line, that one. So we were trying to make this as close as we could and keep it within reason. At the next page, under license and memberships, the United Church assessment that we pay, that got adjusted because we got by the time we started working on this document, we got the actual figure for 2024. So that came down, so that was an adjustment. We originally had in for equipment purchase, a computer for the minister's office, but since it was $3,000 and we looked at that and we talked to Patrick, he says there's no need for you guys to buy one. So we removed that out of there. What we did do was put in, now I just gotta find it. How's everybody enjoying our new speakers? Can we hear better? Awesome. So you will understand why we added in 5,000 and something for speakers in our budget. And it came down to, we needed them, you guys. I think anybody that's been sitting here Sunday mornings, some people have asked about a fundraiser. We said, who's going to do that? Everybody's exhausted. So we would gratefully accept, if you feel so inclined, to say thank you for these speakers. We would gratefully accept donations towards them. So I'm just pitching that. I didn't tell Luann I was going to do that. Sorry.
Glad you did.
Anyways, so the end result in all of this is, where's my final numbers? We know that we're running almost a $30,000 deficit. The running of this building, we've looked everywhere we can cut. Stacy helped put the budget together. She did put the budget together, and we're as pretty much as what we can, what it runs to.
As skinny as we can get it.
As skinny as we get it. So hopefully in the fall, we'll have some more folks coming in and responding to whatever road we're going to be going on. I will say on behalf of, I know Brent is on Zoom up there, I can confidently say that our outside user groups, they really do help us keep these doors open. And Brent has worked so awesome with them. 2 of the 3 groups are signed up for another 2 years with us, so that's that. And I think Unita, that's the church that comes in here in the afternoon. I think they're going to be signing in again too. So that's on the good news front for us. Okay. I don't know. Is there anything else I need to add?
Kathy, are you making the motion to approve
I can do
the
that.
2024
Yep,
budget?
okay.
Okay, and then we
Okay.
can have
Yep,
discussion.
okay.
Sorry,
Yes,
I did that a little backwards.
I will move the revised edition of the 2024 budget.
May I have a seconder to the motion? I see Gwen Watson put up her hand, so thank you, amongst other people. Now, are there any questions in regards to the budget? Raise your hands high and the boys will bring you the mic if you do have any questions. Okay.
Come up, David, you can take over your job here. Yeah, it's on.
This was probably in the annual report, and I don't always read all the budget stuff. What is this JAM Low Family Fund income? What is that?
That is a fund, it's sort of like the Winnipeg Foundation. Margaret Lowe's family put that together. And so every year we get a very nice donation that comes in from that foundation. So it's like a Winnipeg Foundation type. Yeah. Anybody else?
For those of you who are wondering what our bank account is, we're in the $60,000 range. Okay, so do I need to draw the lines there, or if this continues next year, we're good for 2 years, folks, unless something else changes. So with that being said and no further questions, all in favor of approving the 2024 budget, please raise your hands. Good. And John has 4 people or 2? 2. Okay. On Zoom who have approved that. All right. Now, our next motion is a nomination for finance coordinator. I'm put this one as old business because we talked about it at the annual meeting and there were no takers on this. And we thought we could limp along without a financial coordinator. However, we can't move forward with the collaboration agreement if we do not have a finance coordinator. That is a requirement of the region. There's 3 positions that must be filled in order for us to continue functioning, I guess, with the coordination, and it's the chair, a trustee, and a finance coordinator. So I'm going to put one more plea out there for anyone who might like to be our finance coordinator. Oh, come on, don't all put your hands up at once. Okay, so with that being said, seeing as after this meeting, I'll be out of a job if everything passes. So I'll put my name forward as the finance coordinator if somebody will nominate me. Okay, Kathy nominates me. Anybody second? Everybody put up their hand for that. So pick a person, Greg. You have a lot of faith, people. Okay. Are there any questions? Would you like to interview me, ask questions in regards to my abilities, which are minimal?
As the new finance coordinator, will you be finding something in the budget to pay the recording secretary?
We'll look into this matter, Greg. Okay. All right. Was there a question, Stacy? Or no? You're good? Okay. So all in favor of Luann Campbell being your new finance coordinator, please raise your hand. And the people on Zoom, so that's unanimous. Wow, I feel so good. I might move on to, politics maybe. Okay, so that ends the portion of the meeting that we can do before Paul Duval gets here. I don't know what the time is. Sorry, I should have left. Noon. So we might have to take a short break. I think there's still more snacks here. And then as soon as Paul gets here, we can start on the new business, which is the approval of all those great motions that I will have to read. So if you have any questions formulated, you might want to highlight them. But for right now. John, who is the other person on Zoom?
Just Brent.
It's just, oh, 2. Okay, just Brent is on Zoom right now.
Because I got some text, I have to.
Okay. Oh, they're having trouble? Okay. Oh, maybe they wanted to be finance coordinator. Darn it.
Let's take that back.
Okay, so you can talk amongst yourself and mingle for a couple minutes while we wait.
Lou, answer your question.
Yes.
Do you thank your committee?
Okay. So everyone, standing by the piano there is Paul Duval. He's our representative from the region. So welcome, Paul. Thank you for rushing over here. Hope you didn't cut everything at Emmanuel short. Yes. Oh, okay. You have to disband the profile. Okay.
Can you do that?
Sorry? Can the leadership team do that? No, the congregation must? Okay, so yes, Kathy just pointed out that we also need a motion, which we will put in after the joint coordinating team, to disband the ministry profile team. So as long as everything passes, if not, we'll cross that bridge when it comes, I guess. Okay. So Paul, we've done all our other old business that Ginny was present for, and so now we're going to do the motions that are required for the collaboration agreement. So I'm going to start with motion 2, because motion 1 was allowing adherents to vote. So motion 2 of that agreement is that Grace Street United Church approve the joint position description with Gordon King Memorial United Church, Winnipeg, reflecting a reduction of ministry time from 50%, 20 hours a week, that's what Ginny works, to 33% time. That's 13.2 hours a week that Patrick will work, and accessing ministry from the minister called to Gordon King Memorial United Church in accordance with the following. Okay, does everyone understand that first little paragraph before I blurb on? It means we're getting less minister hours from 20 hours a week down to 13.2. We had a long conversation about this, and we feel like we can manage it because time is shared. And also that the minister, being Reverend Patrick Woodbeck, will be our minister because he's the minister at Gordon King currently. So the principal areas of responsibility and associated duties. Now these average hours are noted in a typical month. So we're talking about a month here. So our first item is worship. The ministry personnel will lead 2 Sunday worship services, 3 Sundays each month. So 3. Meaning Patrick will preach at Gordon King, and then he'll preach at Grace Street. 3 Sundays every month. The 4th Sunday, Grace Street will plan for their own worship leadership. This is where you come in, Diane. Sorry, that was my comment. That wasn't in the motion. Okay. The starting times for worship will be as follows. Gordon King Memorial United Church, 10 a.m. Grace Street United Church, 11:30 a.m. We worked very hard to get the times moved up, but that was the best we could do. We had to do some give and take with Gordon King, and they had some real concerns from their community of faith in regards to the start times. So we agreed to 11:30 a.m. start. The individual worship teams will work closely with the ministry personnel to schedule and plan details of worship. The monthly breakdown of allotted time for worship will be 37.5 and 62.5. That's Grace Street, 37.5, Gordon King, 62.5. And this will account for 30% of the ministry personnel's time. Number 2, any non-Sunday worship services will be planned by the worship teams and the ministry personnel to determine the types of service or services that will be held. So that would be example, Ash Wednesday, Maundy Thursday, Blue Christmas, Longest Night, Good Friday, if Christmas Eve does not fall on a Sunday. Those type of services, we'll negotiate them as we go. Coverage for Sundays when the ministry personnel is away will be coordinated by each community of faith's worship team. Each community of faith is responsible to arrange and cover the expenses of pulpit supply during the ministry personnel's absence. And we've accounted for that in the budget that we just voted on. Weather or sickness emergency plan to be decided on together by the ministry personnel and each individual community of faith. This point is something the leadership team is already in discussion with, and we will have a plan by September. Next item is pastoral care. Pastoral care is understood to be the responsibility of the community of faith and is supported by the ministry personnel. Ministry personnel will take the lead in training lay people for pastoral care if required. The hours of ministry personnel regarding pastoral care in each community of faith will depend upon the emerging needs of each community of faith. So that point means where Patrick's hours are needed for pastoral care, he will dedicate it to that area. Sometimes it might be more for Gray Street if we're in crisis. Sometimes it might be more for Gordon King if there's a crisis there. But that being said, the breakdown for pastoral care will be 32 hours per month, split 30 Gray Street United, 70 Gordon King between the communities of faith, and accounts for 20% of allotted time. Programming. It is the goal and hope that the two communities of faith will collaborate on several programming opportunities, including joint gatherings, Christian education, and outreach. There is hope that our collaboration efforts will expand. Number 2, the breakdown for Christian education is based on 16 hours per month, split 50-50 between the communities of faith, and accounts for 10% of the minister's allotted time. Now, the other time of the minister, Gray Street United Church is not currently in a place where community development is a priority in this collaboration agreement. Therefore, there is no time allotted to Gray Street United Church. The time at Gordon King Memorial United Church accounts for 20% of the allotted time. Other time allotted consists of administration, wider church, and personal time, which together accounts for 32 hours per month, split 50-50 between the communities of faith, and accounts for 20% of the allotted time. Now, changes can be made to the position description by the governing bodies upon recommendation of a joint meeting of the ministry and personnel committees. Now, the way we did this at leadership, there's 4 motions here. Because the motions are all kind of combined, I'll read each motion. We'll talk about it if there's any discussion, and then at the end, we'll vote motion 1, motion 2, motion 3, motion 4. We're good with that? Yep. Okay. So on the first motion that speaks to, motion 2 that speaks to the joint position description, are there any questions on what I just read? Can you please take the microphone to Ginny?
It's not a question. It's not a question. It's just to be clear that although there's a reduction in Patrick's hours from what I worked, it really isn't, because you're splitting the worship preparation, the sermon preparation with Gordon King. So instead of paying one person to do that, you're paying Patrick, but you're splitting it between both congregations. So it looks like a reduction, but it really isn't in the amount of time that is.
Thank you for clarifying that, Ginny, just in case that was in anyone else's mind. Are there any other questions? Can you please take the microphone to Deborah?
Did this deal with Sunday school at all?
No. But Kathy would like to speak to that. Can you please take the microphone over to Kathy? Thank you. Run, 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 run.
Deborah, I don't know whether you just meant specific, but the piece about Christian education, that includes Sunday school, Bible study, and that, but we didn't get into what it might look like yet. It'll evolve, so, yeah. But that is what that Christian education piece involves, so.
Thank you for that clarification, and my apologies for answering that incorrectly. Thank you, Kathy. Okay, so motion 3. Having received the detailed collaborative ministry agreement and the joint position description prepared jointly by the profile teams of Gordon King Memorial United Church and Gray Street United Church, and on the recommendation of the leadership team of Gray Street United Church, which met on May 15th, 2024, that the community of faith of Gray Street United Church approve the collaborative ministry agreement between Gordon King Memorial United Church and Gray Street United Church, including the following. So that means that we're approving this document that was actually the agreement, and then it's kind of reworded in this motion. Are you folks comfortable if I do not read this entire agreement? Are you comfortable just reading it in the motion? Or maybe I shall say, raise your hand if you would like me to read this document. Nope, you all read it at home and totally understood it? Good for you. Okay. So the joint coordinating team. There will be a joint coordinating team consisting of 2 members from each community of faith that will be created and will meet as needed to monitor, review, and make recommendations regarding the shared services for ministry personnel. It will be the responsibility of the governing bodies of each community of faith to ensure that the 2 representatives are named to the joint coordinating team, and the joint coordinating team shall report to the governing bodies of each community of faith. In addition, the ministry personnel shall be a member of the joint coordinating team. So the team consists 2 people from Gray Street, 2 people from Gordon King, and the minister. Team of 5. Okay. And then in regards to governance, existing governance in Gray Street United Church and Gordon King Memorial does not change. The ministry personnel team of each community of faith will continue to function independently, but will meet jointly after 6 months, then at least annually, and at other times as appropriate and necessary. The joint M&P team will supervise the terms and conditions of employment. Shared conversations regarding matters of joint concern are encouraged. Worship planning is the responsibility of the worship team from each individual community of faith in consultation with the ministry personnel who will plan, coordinate weekly worship services, as well as collaborate on shared activities, programs, projects. Each worship team will be accountable for their respective coordinating leadership team. Gordon King Memorial United Church coordinating team and Gray Street United Church leadership team will communicate shared activities, programs, projects with each other on a regular basis. The collaborative ministry agreement will be reviewed annually by the joint coordinating team and or the governing bodies of Gray Street United Church and Gordon King Memorial, the ministry personnel, and the Prairie to Pine Relations Committee prior to each community of faith's annual meeting, noting any changes to the agreement that would significantly affect the pastoral relations. With a start date for the collaborative ministry agreement being July 1st, 2024, conditional upon the approval of Gordon King Memorial United. So Gordon King is having their meeting today. If they vote against us, this is all, doesn't matter what we vote, the agreement will not stand. So we need approval on both sides before the marriage. And with the changes to the collaborative ministry agreement after initial approval, requiring approval by the 2 communities of faith and the Pastoral Relations Commission of Prairie to Pine Regional Council, and a current copy of the collaborative ministry agreement with any changes noted will be kept on file by both communities of faith and the Pastoral Relations Commission of Prairie to Pine Region Council at all times. Are there any questions in regards to this motion? Ginny would like to speak again. Can you take the microphone back to Ginny? So while we're waiting for, oh, go ahead, Ginny.
Well, it's just a question about the joint committee. Does it actually have decision-making power or recommendation power only to the leadership team and the whatever Gordon King's piece
To the
is?
best of my understanding, it's a team that talks about
Recommends.
the collaboration and how that is working. And if there's any concerns, they go to the leadership
Okay,
team with the
that's-
concerns.
okay.
So if you have a concern about collaboration, you'll seek out the joint team, and then the joint team will take it to leadership. And Kathy would like to comment on that.
Okay. I know some people are wondering about worship because I've been asked this before, and I'm just going to ask for patience. Because I know how we think it's going to work. What I can tell you for sure is Patrick will preach the same sermon at both churches. That will be the way it is. Because if I line up what our services, and yes, I know their music is different, we've heard about it, but that doesn't mean that we're doing the music the same. So I don't know how it's all going to come about totally. Just know that I will keep our interests in heart. Everybody knows how I am, so, but they might have some ideas that we want to use and vice versa. So I've been waiting till all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed here, and then the emails will start flying to Patrick, let me tell you. So be patient with us. They do have a different working model for a worship team, and that's fine. But the bottom line is Patrick is sort of the, what do I want to call no, I don't want to say, no, I'm not going to say the boss. But he's the common denominator. How is that? The common denominator between the two congregations. So I think it can be very exciting. I'm just going to tell you, I think it's going to be exciting. And after the road we've been on for a couple years here, I'm going to tell you, this was way better than what might have come up for us. I'm really speaking from my heart here. Because we're willing to go outside the box. You know we've done that for the last 2 years. I've asked you folks to go without a minister for a year. We brought in pulpit supply. We tried the online stuff. We tried stuff. And I thank you all from the bottom of my heart because that helped this team come to some decisions. And when we did meet with other folks, some of it just, we knew in our hearts it wasn't going to align for us. So, be patient with us. We'll have something exciting together. I'm confident.
As to that, being on the worship planning team is, our minister, Ginny, and previous ones have always been together. And I dare say that us non-clergy people have had a few pretty good ideas, I think, here and there. So is Patrick going to sit on the worship planning team when we have our meeting? Okay.
Yes, and I personally spoke with Patrick, and the Gordon King's worship planning team is not as active as ours. I think Patrick comes up with the ideas and presents to what they're going to do. But Patrick told me he previously was in Windsor Park, and they had a team like we have a team that plans worship. And he said he really likes working with a team. It inspires him. And so I have very good faith that this is going to come together nicely as far as the worship part. So this motion says we maintain our individuality, but there's also joint things that we will do together. It's not all or one. That's what I read in this motion. Motion 4, that the community of faith of Grace Street United Church acknowledges that entering into the collaborative ministry arrangement with Gordon King Memorial United Church involves approving entering into a pastoral relationship with Reverend Patrick Woodbeck, ordained minister who has been in a call to full-time ministry position, 40 hours a week, at Gordon King Memorial United Church since May 1st, 2023. We agree to pay 33% of all costs related to the following terms in exchange for ministry to Grace Street United Church at 13.2 hours per week, noting the overall financial remuneration is consistent with the initial call to Patrick Woodbeck effective May 1st, 2023, with the appropriate cost of living increases and current terms noted as. So Patrick is salary category D, COL4, and that equals $71,549 per year. Also, Patrick signed for a 10% total above the category, which was $7,154.90. So Patrick's total salary is $78,703.90. $25,972 will be reimbursed by Grace Street United Church. Gordon King paying $52,972 per year. So that is Patrick's salary. Now this is per year. So in our budget, it was only, as Kathy spoke to, September to December. But next year, whatever salaries are negotiated at, ours will be 33% of Patrick's total, yes. Okay, so for telephone and communications, it's $780 per year based on 50% contribution by each place. So therefore, we are responsible for $390 reimbursed by Grace Street and Gordon King, paying $390 each year. Continuing education allowance, $1,640 per year, $541.20 reimbursed by Grace Street United Church, with Gordon King paying $1,098.80 per year. A minimum of 3 weeks. Oh, yes. Continuing education is only paid if the minister uses it. Yeah.
And it's approved by the leadership team.
It also has to be approved by the leadership team, is Ginny's comment. Thank you. Minimum of 3 weeks of study leave within each pastoral year, including Sundays. Minimum of 1 month vacation, including 5 Sundays with each pastoral year. For members of the Order of Ministry and recognized lay minister, a minimum of 3 months sabbatical leave after 5 years consecutive years of service to the pastoral charge. Moving expenses are not applicable in this contract. Adequate administrative assistant, defined as 20 hours per week, office administrator. And I just want to say our office administrator is much more than adequate, okay? Okay. Travel expense reimbursement based on the rate of the 2024 minimum salaries and reimbursements for ministry personnel document, employer costs for pension and benefits as assessed in the premiums and taxable benefit calculator. And other is additional days of holidays for a total of 5 weeks of holidays per year. With Gordon King Memorial United Church, Winnipeg, committing to remuneration of the ministry personnel through the pastoral charge payroll service, ADP number W0XP, and with the understanding that Grace Street United Church will reimburse 33% of all employer costs, including ADP administration fees, in accordance with an agreed upon schedule and mechanism. And the start date for the arrangement of July 1st, 2024, conditional upon the approval of Gordon King Memorial United Church. Now, for those of you who would like a little more information, what the latter part of it means, the second to last slide, I believe it was, is Grace Street's going to pay Gordon King. We each can't pay a minister, that's not allowed. It has to be paid through one church, one ADP. So Gordon King will take on that responsibility, and Grace Street will send money to Gordon King every month. And if my numbers are right, it is it $2,755.55, Kathy, or is it $2,771.77? Okay. In case you're wondering what the actual amount is, because if you go through this and look at the salary and add up the phone and all that, and then look at our budget, and you're going to go, oh, this doesn't match, because I know you're all going to go home and do that. But the benefits are not calculated into this agreement, which I asked. It seemed kind of weird. Well, if there's a salary amount, which will be negotiated at the beginning of year, why isn't there a benefits amount? And apparently that's just not the way these contracts are written.
It is in that one number, that 71,000, whatever.
Yeah.
It is. I checked it.
Oh, okay, that's,
And it comes out to be, probably, we're gonna be.
okay, sorry, can Kathy have the microphone again, please?
So don't hold me totally to this number, but it's pretty darn close. Each month, Stacy will be writing them a check for $2,771.77. That is for the salary, benefits, and the phone allowance. Those are things that have to be paid each month. The other three pieces are the continuing ed portion, the associated ADP fees, and the mileage. And those will be billed to the church. So the $277,177 is a given. Then there'll be the additional come in. So if he submits mileage allowance, we share it. The portion of the ADP, we share it. And the continuing ed, if he's approved, he requests it, then we would pay that, so.
Okay. Thank you, Kathy, for that clarification. Is there any questions in regards to this motion? They're so clear, aren't they? There's no questions required. Okay, our last motion is motion 5, and I took this one on. There was a blank space, but I did insert my name, seeing as I know what all these documents are. So motion 5 is the Community of Faith of Gray Street United Church appoints Luann Campbell to forward all required documents that have not yet been forwarded, which are these are the documents required: financial viability review, 2023 end of year financial statement for all accounts, 2024 financial statements year to date, minutes of the meeting of the governing body on May 15th, 2024, and the minutes of this meeting of the Community of Faith. Joint position description, a signed copy of the collaborative ministry agreement. So I'll get all that packaged together and send it to the pastoral relations minister in a timely manner for final approval to the motions by the Pastoral Relations Commission of Prairie du Pine Regional Council no later than June 6, 2024 for consideration at its meeting on June 11th, 2024. So those are all the motions in regards to collaboration. Now, sorry, Greg, can you remind me, how did we do this at leadership? Was it each individual motion we asked for a motioner and a seconder? Okay, so starting with motion 2, which was the joint position description and all verbiage after that, may I have someone who will approve this motion? Wendy Neplick approves this motion. May I have a seconder? Maxine Sloda seconds the motion. So with discussion already had, are there any final questions? Okay, all in favor? Thank you, and that motion passes. Motion number 3. So this was that we approve the collaboration agreement. May I have someone to approve this motion? That's Eleanor Harrison, and a seconder is Gemma Echo Davis. And all in favor of this motion? Thank you. Oh, sorry, and John's got 3 fingers up, so we got Bob in? Yep, okay, terrific. Okay, and motion number 4, that we're approving Patrick and we're approving the finances. May I have someone to approve this motion? Okay, Maxine approves the motion. Kevin, you'll stand as a seconder. Thank you. Kevin seconds the motion. All in favor of this motion? And that motion is approved. Last motion, to make sure I do my homework after the meeting. May I have someone make this motion? Donna Cameron makes this motion. And Roy Hangle seconds the motion. So all in favor of having faith in me again? Thank you, and that motion passes as well. So I would just like to thank everyone for hanging around, listening to me talk about all these motions, being engaged and being in our community of faith. I really appreciate that. But in order for all the rest of this to go through, we need to elect 2 members to this joint coordinating team, and 2 people did say that they would stand on the team, and so I don't think I can nominate them. Okay, Kathy will nominate. Can I just say it out loud? Okay, so Gemma Echo Davis and Kevin McKenty agreed to be our 2 people on the joint coordinating team. Thank you, Kevin and Gemma. So Kathy makes that motion. May I have a seconder? And Eleanor seconds. And all in favor of these 2 individuals? And that passes. Thank you, John. And with many, many thanks to you, Kevin, and you, Gemma, because I was nervous. We aren't getting a lot of people voting, jumping in to do lots of activities. So that is really nice. Thank you so much.
Disband the,
Yes, we also need a motion to disband the ministry profile team. And Nick makes the motion.
As long as Gordon King and the Pastoral Relations Commission approve it, right? So once those motions are done, then this one would take effect.
Okay, so Ginny's comment was, once Gordon King approves all their motions, then this motion will go forward. And the pastoral relations. Oh, Paul Duval. Oh, hang on, run over to Paul, please, with the mic.
This has been so, I'm on? Okay, this has been so easy, I haven't had need to do anything. But the only question I have regarding disbanding is whether you intend to have a service of covenanting with Patrick as you begin the ministry, and the committee who has been shepherding all of this stuff needs to stay in place until after the covenanting service is planned. But so that it doesn't stop you from making a decision. It just sets the timing for the decision.
Okay, so David, could you take the microphone to Kathy? So Kathy, what would the motion read or say, please?
I just have a question, Paul. It has to be a congregational meeting to disband, correct? No. I thought, because we always have at the AG. Yeah.
You could give permission to the leadership team to disband the committee at the appropriate point.
Okay.
We'll take a minute to put our thinking caps on. Greg, are you?
I'm working on a motion.
Oh, Greg's working a motion. Working on emotion?
Okay, how about this?
Can you bring Greg the microphone, please? So we can all hear him good and loud. Thank you.
Would this work? To give permission to the leadership team to disband the ministry profile team once Gordon King Memorial United Church has approved the collaboration agreement?
Following the covenanting service with Patrick Woodbury.
And following the government?
No, just
Oh,
follow.
so not, you don't need that collaboration agreement?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so to give permission to the leadership team to disband the ministry profile following the covenanting service for Patrick Woodbury. Okay.
Thank you. And who, okay, you're the motioner. May I have a seconder? Cheryl Palilic will second it. Thank you. Are there any questions about this? Yes, Roy?
Just procedure.
Okay, David, could you please give Mr. Hengel the microphone?
Yeah,
Yep, you're on.
just procedure. We have a motion on the floor. Can we put another motion on the floor at the same time before the first one is dealt with?
What is the motion on the floor? Sorry.
haven't voted on all of the 4 motions.
Yes, we did, Roy. We did, sorry. Oh, no, no problem. I know, it was a lot of wording, we might have nodded off. I know I'm doing it up here. Okay. Okay, so all in favor of allowing, sorry, seconder was Cheryl Polilick.
Thank you.
And all in favor of allowing the leadership team the privilege of disbanding the ministry profile team? Okay, all in favor? All right, and that motion also passes. I'm sorry, I haven't been asked for anybody abstaining or this, it just looks like everybody, a sea of hands up there. So the final item will be the checkout. Is there anything that needs to be said at this meeting that has not been said? Raise your hands. No, we're all good, so thank you. Oh. Pshaw. Thank you. Oh. Oh, yes, and the profile team. Yeah, we did that at the beginning, but they deserve. Yes? Oh, okay, Kathy wants.
I would just say, I'm going to say thanks. I know it's been a lot of work, but thank you guys for your support. I said that a little bit earlier. But please don't go home and think about this and think, oh, I should have asked this question, or phone your friend and get the wrong information. Please phone us. We're still working, you know, at least, and you have something you want to just even pass. Remember, Nick's here is a wise one. You can pass through him. This is important, and so we'd rather you not be totally unhappy. Like, if you're unhappy, give us a call. We're pretty tough. We take things. So, if I understand people not wanting maybe to say something now, but we're around. We're not going anywhere. But thanks a lot.
That is a very good comment, Kathy, and I thank you for it. Yes, we need to talk about things, right? We made a covenant at the beginning of this meeting to care for one another. So let's do it in the way that's appropriate for you. And thank you all for caring so much to stay today. And I'm going to call this meeting adjourned. And I'm going to ask Cheryl if she'll lead us in the Amen. Do you know? Can you do it? Or Nick? Or Cheryl and Nick? Or let's everybody stand for the Amen, okay? Yep. Amen. 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 Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, John, upstairs for doing the work there, too. Can you add John? Thank you. Yes. Thank you.